Shall we go to Amundsen? Actually, I got lost with this story. I heard through it at first, and I was a bit puzzled. And I got lost. Huh? What's happening here? And again, I read it through. In Ontario. Okay, let's look up the Google map. This is so useful. Where's that? It should be useful.
There is any explanation why she came here?
She became a teacher in the hospital.
But why came so lonely place?
She said that she needed to earn some money. That was the only reason which was shown here.
That's the answer. Is that the answer? Because I thought there is many there is other places to earn the money.
Right. There's no explanation of that.
Okay.
I think so. Did you get?
Yeah.
Any other explanation?
No.
Maybe not, right? That's not clear. It's okay, kind of vague.
Okay.
And okay, let's see here. Okay.
Where is it?
Odai.
Yeah, you see, here's Ontario, and yeah, those are the 5 big lakes, right? And Toronto is here. Actually, this red point is Huntsville. Huntsville is the town where they went to get married. See, and Amundsen is in Peterborough. Peterborough. Anyway, Peterborough, I think. Peterborough. So, she came from Toronto to Peterborough by train. Yeah. And the people said, "San." San means, I think that's sanatorium.
Yes.
Because the many patients are tuberculosis. And the date is maybe during the war, presumably. Because the nurses, when was that? The service was
During wartime something.
yeah.
So not very far.
No. It's a kind of compact. Not from Vancouver to Toronto.
I hear 38.
38?
Okay.
Yeah, right. Doing their wartime duty. So those registered nurses were on their wartime duty, and the other.
What is wartime duty?
I don't know.
Here. There is no soldier here.
No. However, maybe nurses had, this is my guess, but maybe in the wartime, nurses had some duty to work in somewhere. Because men are all out.
Okay.
Because during World War II, men were all out of the the country. So in America, when I studied about American history a bit, many women had a duty to work in factories or, and those kind of posters were on the walls at that time.
I see.
So especially the nurses had a kind of specialist, so they had to work in the hospital presumably.
Mm.
And the nurses' aides and their the partners or in the forces. It says that too here. Then younger, mostly married or engaged or working on being engaged, generally to men in the forces. And also when Vivi was asked by Dr. Fox about her boyfriend, she told him a lie, right?
Yeah.
And she said that he's in Navy, and he's on Corvette. Corvette is small ship, which has submarine or something, and to clean. Where's that called? The bomb in the sea.
Maybe that there is, it showed up in Pi.
Oh, is that right? Corvette?
Mm.
Do you remember?
There are three kinds of ship, and one of them is Corvette.
Is that right?
You draw that.
No, that's
Picture.
luminaries.
Yes, that's luminary.
Yes. Actually, Corvette was not there.
Really?
Or maybe I forgot. Not Life of Pi. Okay, mine. The Corvette. Do you understand the mine? Bomb in the sea. They clean up. The Corvette is a kind of small ship, so they clean up those mines in the sea. So that's why he said that he's brave. Okay, so let's go to that part. Page.
Where is Navy's boyfriend? About Navy's boyfriend?
Oh, Navy's boyfriend? When they were having
50.
when they were having dinner. After dinner.
Yeah, do you have a boyfriend?
Thank you.
And on page 39, there's the reputation of Dr. Fox from, his career. They also, they were in awe of Dr. Fox, partly because he had read so many books. And they also said that there was nobody like him to tear a strip off you if he felt like it. Did you look up this word? Tear a strip off?
No.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah, scold people very badly. So he did it to Mary afterwards.
I don't know why they like it to be scolded by him. Why they like it?
You mean Mary?
No, as a nurse or nurse aide.
Or scolded by him? I don't know. So it means that he seems to be kind of, suddenly he get angry, right?
Short tempered.
Kind of. And when he invited her to dinner, there was an expression that, on page 46, the invitation, the bottom of page 46, the invitation seemed to come rather on the spur of the moment. It means suddenly, without any previous planning or thought, when he met me in the hall. Or he was thinking, but there was that kind of, what we can say, impression that she got from him. And she bought a ticket of Pinafore, like the play, for the Valentine. That means this is the Valentine's Day. He invited her for the dinner. It's kind of date. Oh. Wow. And she dressed up and went there. And he talked about the Magic Mountain. Do you know Magic Mountain? Have you read the Magic Mountain?
No.
Thomas Mann.
Ah.
Actually, I haven't read that.
I just know the name.
Yeah, through Kitamoriya's book. Because he was crazy about Thomas Mann. And many times it showed up in his essay, that kind of light essay. I was reading Kitamoriya many times when I was junior high or high school students. And he wrote about the Magic Mountain a lot. But I don't know the contents. But on page 49, they talked about the Magic Mountain. So I think they were talking about the characters in the story. Nafta
difficult to name.
and Settembrini. It sounds strange. That's written in German, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of long story. And also the Magic Mountain is related to Sanatorium too.
How come?
That is the story which was happening in a sanatorium in Alpes. Alpes? Alpes. I don't know. Alpes.
You're recording.
Alps. Alps. We can concentrate on the story since we are recording. We are a good girl today.
Every day.
Yeah, always. Alps. Could you do that again? Alps. Thank you. Ah, there is no vowels here. Alps. So that's why when he mentioned about tuberculosis. Oh yes, so you must have read the Magic Mountain like that. He said that. Yeah, and he asked her about boyfriend. And on this first date, nothing happened actually. But she felt... no.
On the first day, he kissed her on cheek, not cheek.
Temple? What is that? A dry-lipped kiss. Brief and formal. Set upon me with hasty authority. yes. The page 51. He washed the dishes I dried. He put a dish towel round my waist to protect my dress. When the ends were efficiently tied, he laid his hand against my upper back here. Such firm pressure, fingers separated, he might almost have been taking stock of my body in a professional way. So he tied a towel. At the time he touched her back. That's it.
Is it first date?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is the first date. On page 51. When I went to bed that night, I could still feel that pressure. Like high school girl. I felt it develop its intensity from the little finger to the hard thumb. I enjoyed it. That was more important really than the kiss placed on my forehead later here, temple. The moment before I got out of his car. A dry-lipped kiss, brief and formal, set upon me with hasty authority. Hasty authority. And he said that he gives her the key of his house. So that means maybe he was attracted by her at this moment. Because around him, those Karagyus were not, interested in CBC and no interesting to any folks. But they're a bit, he was a bit alone, I think. But now he could talk with the magic mountain. With a girl.
How old is he?
Yeah, I was wondering too.
At the first part of it referred 10 or 15 years older than her girl, but it's not sure.
No.
He just talked like that age, but it's not sure he is the
yeah, how old he is. No, we cannot tell from here. But he was taking care of Annabelle, and also Mary, like their father, and he was on a sleigh, and he played with them in the snow or in the lake. That means when he was doing that, presumably he was 30s or 40s. Not 20, I don't know. But now Mary is a high school student. So that means he's about late 40s or something. I don't know, but it looks like. But maybe, this is my impression, but he must be much older than her. 10 years or something.
Not Mary. Vivian is in 30s.
Maybe, presumably. Because, where is that?
37 or 30?
38. It says, Martin, there were 3 registered nurses, not one of them within 30 years of age. Yeah. So, yeah, the registered nurses is much older than her. And younger nurses are not interested in culture things so much. So presumably Dr. Fox was feeling lonely something. I don't know. And now he met a girl who reads book. Who reads books. Anyway, and then for the second date, Mary rushed in. Although she was not invited, and he scolded her so badly. What was that? He tore a strip off her. And then Vivi was sorry for Mary, but why was she sorry for Mary? But she was kind of affected. No, she felt very sad.
Because she didn't go to the concert?
Pardon?
Because she didn't go to the concert?
No. When Mary was scolded by him, he totally ignored her at first, and he tore a strip off her. I'm trying to remember the expression. And at that time, she was sorry for Mary because she was scolded so badly. But also she was happy with that because he was doing that for her.
Because he wanted to spend time with her.
Yeah, only her. Where's the one?
On page 56.
Yeah.
The second problem from the bottom.
He had been brutal here. It shocked me that he had been so brutal to one so much in need, but he had done it for me in a way, so that his time with me should not be taken away. This thought flattered me. This one flattered me, and I was ashamed that it flattered me. I did not know what I would say to him when he got back. Although she was over 30, she's like a high school student.
I feel sorry for Mary because she
Thank you.
she didn't blame them for
No.
they're not coming.
No.
She bring her song to them all the way. She was scolded by him for his affair.
For his affair. Yes. Yeah, he's brutal, isn't he? But she was flattered too.
Yes.
I mean, Bibi was flattered. So that's a girl.
Really, it's just a high school student, so.
Yeah, I know.
Adults are so must think of her
Yes,
feelings.
yes.
She's just a girl.
Yeah, and also, he was very nice to her when she was a little child. So she still thinks that he's like that. And he came, and she also liked Vivi, Mary, and she thought she was allowed to come in. Maybe weird, but yeah, he's not that nice, I think, either. And he didn't say anything. everything and brought her to bed. Terrible, isn't it? But as we noticed that, she didn't have experience so far. My state of virginity, at least, did not appear to be surprised. So he was the first man for her. And he said, I do intend to marry you on the very beginning of the page 57. Ha! And she said, yes, it's very funny to me. But, you know, if it were the story in wartime, in World War II, maybe it could happen. You know, in that age, if you had an affair with a guy,
I think so, and there is few men
in the world. And, you know, she's kind of educated. Because she had a master's degree here, right? MA.
Oh, yes.
Not bachelor. Bachelor degree, master's degree. In World War II, that must be very special. And if during World War II, when she's over 30 and single, you know.
She was just planning to do MA, but not how, but
She hasn't got MA.
yes, 30 on page 37. What were you planning to do once you got to BA? Work on my MA.
So she quit.
Yeah.
So she quit.
Maybe
Quit MA.
she's planning to do MA after she earned some money.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So she finished BA, and she was wanting to go to master course after this. Okay. Yeah. Right. So it is funny that he was not planning to have any wedding party, wedding ceremony. Like better not to call attention. Here on page 57, in a blank here. Before, of course, better not to call attention. Usually, when you get married, you will be celebrated by people. And I think it is important. But you cannot run away like him. Since nobody knew it, he could do this, you know. So celebration is so important. Yeah, since this is during the war, the meat were, you know, taken by ration. Do you know ration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meat?
Yeah. He had his own ration card, and she get the ration card, and if you pay by the ration card, you can get meat. But her ration card was already passed to the hospital already, so she had to eat in a hospital kitchen. He had his own, need. So, but it's funny, isn't it? They can share it, even though it was very, small portion. If he loves her, they can have a small portion together. Yeah, here the things are very strange. On page 57 to me. And she said yes, yes. And they kept it as a secret for everybody. And finally on page 58, they were going to Huntsville. And when we reached the Huntsville, they were planning to go to the town hall. Okay, page 60. Sorry, page 59. See, on the last paragraph here, I turn my mind to the future. Once we get to Huntsville, I expect that we will find a minister and stand side by side in a living room which will have some of the modest gentility of my grandparents' apartment, of the living rooms I have known all my life. I recall times when my grandfather would be sought out for wedding purposes even after his retirement. My grandmother would rub a little rouge on her cheeks and take out the dark blue lace jacket that she kept for being witness on such occasions. That means do her grandparents live in Huntsville?
After separation of him, he headed for her grandparents' house.
No. Okay, well anyway. And she was imagining that she had imagination to marry in front of her grandparents. In the living room, they call the minister as witness of the wedding. However, here it's important on page 60, but I discover there are other ways to get married, and a version of my bridegrooms that I hadn't grasped. Yeah, this is very important. He won't have anything to do with a minister. In the town hall in Huntsville, we fill out forms that swear to our single state and make an appointment to be married by a justice of the peace later in the day. So it was the plan. It hadn't happened. Later in the day. But
I
when
thought this time they applied for wedding
certification or something.
certification.
I thought so too. So I got really puzzled.
Oh.
And I read through again and again around here.
Oh.
And finally I found out, oh, it was just a plan.
Just a plan. They applied just a plan to the city hall.
He had this plan, actually. Dr. Fox, this was the plan of Dr. Fox. And she was kind of surprised then when she knew it. And when they reached the Huntsville, it was time for lunch. And they had a very miserable dinner before wedding, not wedding, but before to get this certification. And after that, when they moved to the city hall, he stopped the car and kind of thinking. And finally he said, like here on page 61, in the line from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. He said, abstraction. His abstraction. What he was saying then had been terrible, but this tight grip on the wheel, his grip and his abstraction and his voice had pain in them. And he was a bit, spaced out. He was thinking in himself. And when the van came, he didn't notice it. And finally the van driver came in and opened and could move the car, those kind of things. And on page 62, and he said here, this short line here, I can't do it, he said. He has said that he can't go through with this. He can't explain it. Only that it's a mistake. That's what he said. And he decided, I'm going to drive you to the station now. I will buy your ticket to Toronto. I'm pretty sure there is a train to Toronto late in the afternoon. And he decided by himself. And she was sent to Toronto. But there should be some other reason here. Mainly, he was short-tempered and he decided very, suddenly. However, and also, maybe she didn't know it, but what he was saying here is, I'll think of some very plausible story and I'll get somebody to pack up your things. You need to give me your Toronto address. I don't think I've kept it. Oh, and I'll write you a reference. You've done a good job. You wouldn't have finished out a term anyway. You see, the school in the hospital was decided to be closed. I hadn't told you yet, but the children are going to be moved. all kinds of big changes going on. So she doesn't have the whole picture of the sanitarium. But maybe the sanitarium will be closed, or those kind of things will happen. So he knew that she would lose her job anyway.
Why he didn't tell her?
Strange guy, huh?